Good morning. I want to thank Father Ryan for allowing me to pray with y'all today and celebrate Eucharist and sharing the pulpit with y'all. I'm from Abbeville, Louisiana. Anybody been to Louisiana? Yes. Did you like it? Anybody wanted to travel to Louisiana? Welcome. I'm from Louisiana. I'm a Cajun from down south and a missionary in Haiti. I've been there for 32 years. And when I first went to Haiti, and my mama, before I went, my mama says, she says, don't you ever beg for money. And I've been doing it for 32 years. And my daddy says, look, boy, when you get up there, don't preach long. Be brief. So I try to be that way. When I first went to Haiti in '89, I went to visit the bishop, and Bishop LaRoche, and invited me to come into his diocese. And he says, Father Meaux, he says, we need your gifts, and you can help us a lot. He said, nous besoin ou, venez. We need you come to the darkest corner of my diocese. And I was just ordained a few years. And man, I had so much ego and pride and arrogance. And I said to the bishop, I'd be happy to come. I didn't ask him, though, why it was called the darkest corner of his diocese. And when we first went to the mountains, there was no water, no trees, all desert. There was just nothing. There was voodoo and zombieism practice at that time. And so what we've done is, what's happened is the children were dying of malnourishment. We had only 13 children in our school at that time, and they had no access to the basic needs of life. And the reason the Lord loves the poor so much is because they have no access to those rights: lodging, education, health care, water, and work. They have no access to that. And so as time would go on, we would start a program for the destitute, those who had no food, for the children who had no school, lodging. We've built over 900 cinder block houses where the families now, the poorest of the poor, have lodging. And we have a medical center, second to none. We have laser equipment for the ophthalmologists. And then we have dentists that come to the mission. We have a pharmacy, medicines. What I'm saying is the poor not only have access to the basic rights, they possess the rights. As of this past 10 years, they possess the rights that they were blessed and promised, because we are created in the image and likeness of God. And so today we have a little city in Colbano. It's a little city that has the Christian values. They possess everything that God has given to them, and they're beginning to and they're sharing with what has been given to them. We remember the earthquake yesterday morning, and it has killed over 300. And what we thank the Lord for that, not allowing it to hurt more people as it did many years ago. But the thing I'd like to share with y'all today is that in the mission, we have created an infrastructure, a middle class, a third world middle class. We developed the land, so we have a lot of gardens. And then my great desire and want many years ago was to have tilapia, raise tilapia. And I love fish. We have pigs. I love pork. We're self-contained, and so the whole thing about the tilapia. We sold over $1,600 worth of fish on Good Friday. And so I want to ask y'all, who do you think bought the fish? We're going to talk today, guys and women. Okay, there's no mass until tomorrow. Who bought the fish? That's a simple one. Pardon? The rich people. Nope. Who bought them? Come on. Pardon? The peasants, the poor. The poor bought all the fish, and we charge them $2 American dollars per pound live. They come with their plastic bags with water. They put the fish in. They pay the $2 or whatever they buy, and they have fish that night. So they're generous. They have food now. They have beautiful gardens, and they have a special dignity of how God loves them. And then for the church, we built a church and dedicated it last year. Father Tony was there, and a few priests from the Diocese of Duluth. And the church is an open-air church. It seats 600 adults and 800 children. And so they asked the peasants, can you help with the church? And the peasants they shared 5,000 American dollars, 5,000, which shows their solidarity with the poorest of the poor and how we developed into a community of faith. Our school numbered 13 in '89. Now we have 1,600 that we educate each day. So we have two schools, the best in the country, and I'm not being prejudiced, the best of the best. Clinical care, medical care, the best. Our surgery room we have in our clinic is second to none. So that's kind of my story. I ask that you bring a brochure from Cross Catholic because they support us. So if you would bring a brochure when you go back home, pray over it, see how you can help us. One of my needs is a $500 loan. We give $500 at 5% to an individual. In 5 years, after we repeat giving the 500, that person becomes self-sustaining. We have 70 individuals this year who become self-sustaining and support themselves by what they sell. And then the second thing is, because of the inflation we've seen here, wood, etc., is like 300%. In Haiti, it's gone up also to build houses in the wood and the metal. So that's another need that is present. But the one thing that I would love for y'all to pray about is the $500 that will bring people into self-sustenance, sustain themselves. So that's kind of what we do. That's kind of who we are. And God has blessed us so much. And I've been there for many years. And when I was growing up, I didn't want to serve the poor. I wanted to be a parish priest. And the reason I wanted to be a parish priest is you have breakfast in the morning, confessions, mass, lunch, and those are old enough. Remember the soap operas. Remember Edge of Night, General Hospital? That was in the 60s and 70s. And at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I go to my room and watch a soap and supper. And God says, no, Glenn, that won't work. So I went to Haiti, and this is what's happened. The sinner that I am, God has used my own sinfulness by God's grace to bring this great glory among the poorest of the poor, the darkest corner of the bishop's diocese, and now it's a light. Okay, what time is it?
5:02.
Poof. I can have questions. 5 more minutes, and Father Ryan's going to have you out at 11:30. Promise. Any questions? You got a question? No? Okay. Yes.
You're located. Are you affected by the earthquake?
Yeah. We're located in the central part of the plateau, surrounded by mountains. We were not affected whatsoever. The earthquake happened in the southwest, at the tip, the southern tip. Now you play it safe. Y'all sit in the back, and y'all play it safe.
So what about the rotten people that are out there killing people? Or is there still, it sounds like you have a good community now full of a lot of good people. So the bad people that are killing people aren't...
Well, they have a lot of 9 gangs that have come into the country. They're mostly in Port-au-Prince, the big cities. They go to the south. They were coming to the middle part of the country, but what's happened is because we've started a community that cares for each other, they've not come to the plateau in that area. So that's a good question. Thank you for it. Everybody's safe. Who's a doctor here? A nurse? Doctors, nurses, medical field? Over here? We need a nurse. We need a doctor, scrub nurse. We have, ophthalmologists that come, but we need staff. We need folks to come with them, talk to Father Tony, and he will kind of organize what we do there, and then teams, volunteers. I've not had anybody for 3 years that have come to the mission because of either elections or violence. Come to the mission, we pick you up at the airport, bring you to a small airport, go to the mountains, piece of cake. And if you want to come to the mission, lose 5 pounds before you come, because you're going to gain 5 pounds when you get there. I love to eat. I love Boston butt. Love brown gravies, the fish, the chicken. I'm spoiled. So, but the great treasure too is that if the mission would lose all finances, every penny, it would continue. It's self-sustaining now. It would be smaller, but it would continue, and that's the blessing of a missionary, the blessing of my team that we've done. So they run the mission better than when I'm not there. So thank you very much. Please bring a brochure home. Pray for Father Meaux and for Cobanal, the poorest of the poor, because there is hope for all of us if we live according to the Catholic social teachings. Who's heard of that before? The 7 Catholic social teachings. Name one. It's going to be right. Bury the dead. That's not one of them, but that's another. Okay. So remember this sentence I'm going to tell you. Remember the sentence. Please send round pizza with square corners. Please send round pizza with square corners. Repeat it. Okay, put it in your browser. Please send round pizza with square corners, and the Catholic social teachings will pop up. And it talks about solidarity, the need, being created in the image and likeness of God, and we have a dignity that cannot be taken away. What time you got?
Still got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, 2 more questions. Father Ryan, you have one?
Yeah, you give those $500 loans. Can you give a few examples of what people have done with those? Are they making jewelry? Are they making clothing?
Yeah,
are they farming? Are they?
It depends upon the individual person. One man went to, he has cattle, or he buys and sells. So he might have bought a cow where it's more reasonable to buy. Then he goes to another place where they get more money. And then in one day, he makes a profit. And then he gets the $500 back when he pays it. And so they become self-sustaining quickly. Rice, oil, beans, when they sell that, we get back the 500, we give it back to them 4 to 5 years, depending upon what it is, they become self-sustaining. Yes, ma'am. The name of the town, the mission where I'm at, the name of the diocese is Hinch, the name of the village is Cobanal, and we're in the central part of the country. If you look at Port-au-Prince, you go up 60 miles, straight up north, and that's where we are. Thank you. Question? You were smiling. No question? If you had one, what would it be?
Well, on your website, it says, when you go to
Cross Catholic.
And you click on Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
those monies then we donate there?
All the monies, all the monies that come to us comes through Cross. There's a number on the brochure, and it comes to Cobanal. Our budget is about $1 million every year for the school, the operations, the fish, the $500. We have over 900 mothers and small business loans. We present a budget, and they fill it, and they fill it. Okay. Father Ryan, thank you very much. I have to leave. I have a plane this afternoon, so I'm leaving after my homily, my sermon. Please pray for us. Please pray for the mission. Please pray for the country. And it's been good. It's been good to be with y'all. I always love to visit Father Tony. And I met him in Brainerd many years ago. Please know that I love you, and that I will ask the peasants to pray for the community and your needs. Thank you very much.
Have a safe trip back.
Thanks.
God bless. Father Glenn, I've known him for about 10 years, and so he's somebody who's in the diocese every summer. So he's not just kind of a one-hit wonder. He really has built a relationship with people here throughout northern Minnesota people supporting the mission in Haiti. So I know he's on his way out, but he can hear me back there. So Father Glenn, thank you for being with us this summer again. Please stand for the